They are just watching you guys talk, I think there's a lot that I've learned from the last episode.
In the kitchen, where there is a cooking space, the sink, it will occupy less space, it will give more room to walk around. Guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Design. So today I'm joined by a guest, my friend here, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Thank you, Raymond.
Yes.
Nice to join you today.
Yeah,
at least now I'm not at the backstage.
Today we decided to give a producer a cameo. For it's going to be a discussion as we talk about kitchens. So think we kick it off?
I think we should kick it off.
Okay.
Last time I was there just watching you guys talk, I think there's a lot that I've learned from the last episode, and I want to know more about kitchens from this episode.
So Chris here today, we decided he's going to be an input. He's going to be asking questions, trying to get fill-ups. If I do a point very fast, he's going to push me back a bit. So I think we should begin now. So kitchen, we decided to talk today. We are talking about L-shape and U-shape kitchen. So what would you like us to begin with?
I think we should start with the L-shaped one.
L-shaped one.
So
I think before we go to the topic itself, I think we should first explain some terminologies that we're going to be using throughout this episode. Like work triangle. You have the work triangle, and I think that's the big one. The others is cabinetry. Work triangle basically. So the work triangle it's a flow in the kitchen. It's like it draws an imaginary triangle in the kitchen, where there is a cooking space, the sink, and the fridge. So here is where you move as you cook. You have to go to the cooker, you go to the sink, you go to the fridge. Like it's a triangle.
It's basically the triangle of your working space. When you're doing your things in the kitchen.
So that's what we call the work triangle. Cabinetry is the cabinets on the wall. Like that's what is going to determine the shape of the kitchen shapes that we're going to be talking about. So we begin. L shape. L shape is the cabinetry it draws an L to an adjacent wall. Like there's a wall here adjacent to this other, and it draws an L.
I think I've interacted with a couple of L-shaped kitchens where you find maybe there is a sink and maybe some marble top at the side.
So that's pretty much how it is. So there is a sink somewhere, there is a cooker in between the cabinets, then there is a fridge at the end, or it can be on the other side of a wall. It basically there is an L drawing to it. We'll show photos as we continue, right?
I think that's interesting. What do you consider can be the advantages of that, like having an L-shaped kitchen in your home?
Advantages of it is, one, it is open. Like it provides more space. Assuming you bring a guest to your space, it provides this extra flow. There is no cramping in, especially if the working space is small. So you can have a guest in your kitchen. You can have a talk in the kitchen. You will see like the talk shows. It's easier to. That's one of the recommended kitchens to use. So pretty much around it.
I think that's pretty much well. What about the disadvantages? Like why would you not tell if you walk into somebody's house and then you see like the space and they're like, okay, we want a kitchen. What do you recommend here? What will make you not recommend an L-shaped for those people?
I would say space, the size. Size of a kitchen is basically what decides what kitchen you're going to use. The size of it. You can have a small kitchen. I would suggest having an L shape for a small kitchen, because it will occupy less space. It will give more room to walk around, as opposed to a U, which you're going to be talking about. Because you will be cramped. It will be all over. You'll be just walking one way through it. For the L shaped, you have two entry points. You can try and imagine it like there are two entry points, because there is no wall on this side, there is no wall on this side. You're just walking through two walking on places, and It's good. I would say it's a disadvantages, right?
Yeah.
So it's a disadvantage. I would say one, it is hard to use the end cabinet. You've tried to, you've seen these L-shaped kitchens, and the corner cabinet.
The corner cabinets always have some issues
unless it needs a specific design to it for it to be functional. But most of the time it is not easy to use those corner points, or even trying to place something on that corner point. It has to be just accessory. It's a bit hard to use that space, and it feels more like a waste of space. It feels more like waste of space. What else? I would say something else is for the L-shaped. I don't think there's much to it. L-shaped is easy. It is an easy kitchen type to suggest to people. I would say that. So what do you think?
I think that's pretty much interesting. What about like when it comes now to the U-shaped type of kitchen? Can you just explain to us like a bit about U-shaped kitchen, how it looks, its structure?
U-shaped, now add another wall to the L. The adjacent end of it, add another wall. Now it will form this U drawing to it. And you get the idea. So it's just like letter U. There are things at the side, maybe at the far end corner, some sections, maybe some cabinets. It doesn't have to be equal to a U. Like this wall is bigger, this is smaller, this is bigger. It can be smaller, big, small.
It's like it has three sides.
It has. The main idea here is it has three sides to it. And they are adjacent to each other, like they follow each other and draw this U. But it is not qualified to say that it has to be same size. One wall can be bigger than the other.
So it just depends on the shape of the kitchen, or the space that is available. So what are some of the advantages of having this U-shaped kitchen in your home?
U-shaped kitchen. I would say the beauty of it has more space to work around with. I would say, because you have this wall, assuming the space is big, you have this space to work with. You move to the other side, you can have multiple people in the kitchen. And for hotels, I'd say it's recommended when you're using a far end wall. Many people can be cooking. It can as opposed to a disadvantage, I just remembered a disadvantage that is in L-shaped. It is hard to have many cooks in that space. You can't have one cooker here, it will be cluttered. But for you can have one cooker on that end wall, and the other at the other end wall. And it is easy to have more people in the kitchen.
So if you look at like the U-shaped kitchen, how, let's say you have like a space and then you have the U-shaped kitchen. What do you think how does it relate to the space that somebody has? For example, would you recommend a U-shaped kitchen for a smaller space or just for a larger space? Maybe if it is an hotel which has like a larger space for people, numerous people. But then what about if it is a smaller house, maybe?
Smaller house. For a smaller house, I wouldn't recommend, because it will limit the entry. I think that's the biggest disadvantage when it comes to a U-shape. Imagine having a small house. We'll try and post photos as we go on. You see there is a wall, it's small space. You'll only have one entry point to that kitchen. And then you'd have to move around, you have to rotate, you have to spin yourself there, and that can be exhausting and can cause some funny accident. But again, it can also be an advantage if you look at it, because you can get to these corners faster. I'd say for kitchens, it's, other than preference at times, the suggestion of what type to use is mostly dependent on the size of the kitchen. Because one disadvantage we have on this U-shaped is that it can be a punch to your pocket.
It's expensive.
It's an expensive budget, because you have to fill the spaces, and it's a big, for cabinets, the cabinets to be used, you have to draw a U, and if the space is big, that's a punch to your pocket. And you'd want to try and keep it budget and still have a good design, which at times it's the rule of you can't have something good cheap is expensive.
Yeah, cheap is expensive.
Yeah, cheap is expensive. And if you try and play around with that terminology, you can have something that is not of good value. Yeah.
I remember when you were talking about the L-shaped kitchen, you explained that there's a problem like when you're handling the corners.
Yeah.
But now with the U-shaped, you have two.
Yeah, you can imagine.
Yeah.
You now have two, and it adds to this. You're trying to use two corners. I think this is where we try and, as designers, we try and utilize these corners to make. I think we add those photos too. There is this design we interacted with, and it had this kind of an M design to it. So it plots out and covers it. As you pull out the drawers, they have this like MW design, and adds at least it adds some functionality to it. Some at least you can try and avoid wasting those end corners of it, because you pull it out and you can put spoons. Try and put charging accessories. For people who are using phones, charging the phone while they're still cooking or you're listening to music. It can be.
I think that's pretty an interesting way to use it, to utilize this space.
Because or even putting a flower source at the end of it. Because people don't normally use the end point of the couch corner, so you can put a small flower.
Just some decoration.
These are those to play things that you try not to design, and it's kind of nice.
I think that's pretty much interesting. I think I've gotten a heck of some of the advantages, disadvantages of these two types of kitchens, and I think that's the end of this episode.
I think pretty much. I would say maybe if you have questions for the audience, you can type them, you can write on our comments. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon, and stay tuned as we go to the next episode, the next series. I hope you'll be joining us for another series, even if it's not the next one. I really hope
to join you again. It was nice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So join us again in the next episode as we talk about parallel kitchen and the island, and it's going to be nice.
Thank you.
Bye.